This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. As I step into a new chapter of my life, preparing for the arrival of my first baby, I've been thinking a lot about the future. What do I want my 2025 story to be? Every January feels like a fresh start, a blank page waiting to be filled. And for me, this year isn't about just resolutions. It's about setting intentions. And I want to be more present, practice self-care, and feel truly supported during this big transition. And one thing that's been a game changer for me as I prepare for this new role is therapy. It's like having an editor for your life story, someone who helps you navigate challenges, manage stress, write a plot of something you're proud of. And therapy isn't just for major life events like becoming a parent. It's also about setting healthy boundaries, becoming the best version of yourself, and anything else that you really want to talk about. So if you're ready to rewrite your story, BetterHelp makes it so easy. It's online, affordable, and convenient with over 30,000 licensed therapists to choose from. You can even switch therapists anytime for no extra cost. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/happyhealthy to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/happyhealthy.
Donald Trump
is the official president as of today. There's some people on this side that are like, Trump is my hero and my savior and I love him and I worship him. And then there's some people that are like, he's the Antichrist. We thought that there'd be no better person to call than the Jonathan Pokluda.
To the pro-Trump, to the anti-Trump person, speak to both of them. What advice do you have for them? I think secretly Biden and Trump low-key like each other.
TikTok is kind of the least of your concerns.
Are you going to do an medicated versus like an unmedicated birth? Girls don't have an equivalent to golf.
Y'all don't have an equivalent to birth and like caring. That's so stupid. It's so unfair. That's so unfair. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. Happy Tuesday. If you're listening on a Tuesday, I am your host, Janine Amapola Ward, and I am joined here today with the amazing Caleb Joseph Ward.
Thank you for having me. We are back.
We are back. You haven't been on the podcast in a minute.
It's been a few weeks.
The last time you came on?
I think Christmas. Wait. Yeah, Christmas.
Pre-Christmas.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks. A lot has happened in the news cycle since the last time we've talked. We have a new president. We have potentially a TikTok ban. I guess TikTok is working now.
Yeah.
Yesterday it went away for a bit. We're actually filming this on a Monday, so you're listening to this tomorrow. So we're like caught up with all the news.
Real time.
So you'll get like real time actual stuff that's going on that we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm. We wanted to do that so that it was like up to date and you could hear our current thoughts, because we actually filmed one pre-TikTok ban. At the point when we were filming, TikTok was like going to be banned, and we were
so much change. We're like, we got to refilm.
Right. And we also, obviously we'll address the LA fires. That was insane. Yeah. I'm going to have a link down below to donate. There's several ways. I made a Google form of several ways to help out, but that was really, really tragic. And I had a lot of friends affected by that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was so sad.
But yeah, we're just going to catch up because I've done episodes. We've had a guest on, and Caleb and I haven't sat down. We're going to talk, the inauguration. We're going to talk about TikTok ban. We're going to talk all things baby, because I am officially, as of today, 23 weeks pregnant. Crazy.
Insanity.
No,
absolute
I'm
crazy.
Officially popped too.
You're officially just like pregnant. Like you don't really know that you're pregnant until you really start popping,
Right. It's like I knew I was pregnant, but now I'm like, I'm feeling him like boxing me at night. He's like, doom, 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 like inside my womb. He's like, let me out. But it's crazy. I feel so much more connected to him. Mm-hmm. We had our anatomy scan last Monday. We got to see his little face, and it was so funny. We got on the doctor's appointment, and as we were like, I'm like lying down on the table, the sonogram, is it sonogram? Yeah, I guess sonogram technician, she was like, so just to let you guys know, a lot of blood tests are wrong. She's like, there's been many times I've come in here and found out that it was not the gender that they were expecting. And we look at each other, we're like, so it's not a boy?
Well, it would have been it is a boy.
It's a boy. No, tell them the story, what happened.
Well, she was looking at the anatomy scan and she was like, well, it's obviously a boy.
Yeah, she like spun him around because she like went on the camera.
We saw everything.
She literally violated our son. She goes in between and like films his legs in between his legs, and she zooms in and she's like, "Yep, can't confirm it's a boy." And I was like, "How dare you do that to my son?" No, I'm just kidding.
No,
it was funny. So we were like, "Okay, phew."
It was a relief just because we've already bought clothes. We've named him.
Yeah,
it would have just been like we'd had to mourn our son.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, again, we would have been super pumped to have a girl, but we would have had to just readjust because literally people have given us blankets with our son's name on it because we've told like close friends and stuff. But I'd have to be like, okay, save that for the next baby, if even. So how are we doing, babe?
Tired.
Yeah, I think we're both a little tired.
Just exhausted with, I think I announced a few weeks ago that I was going to be studying for the LSAT. I have taken one LSAT. I don't think that I did that good. Honestly, like, I don't even want to talk about it that much because I studied so hard for several months. I'm going to take it again a couple times. I'll probably take it again in April, take it again in June. But I took the test, babe, and I froze. Like, I froze. I can't believe I like forgot everything that I've learned. I think I did. I might have done okay.
Yeah, we don't know.
But I genuinely just like felt like I blinked for the first 20 minutes. And I kind of caught a rhythm later on. But I'm not like confident at all that when those test results come back, that it's going to be good.
Yeah, we get the results back in like 2.5 weeks. And it was interesting. He got to take the test at our house. And so I had to be gone. And it was like a 5-hour test. It was insane. So like in the first 10 minutes, I wasn't done like packing my bag and getting my stuff ready. And I also wanted to pack snacks for him, make sure he had food in between his breaks. I'm literally like tiptoeing around the house trying to make sure he didn't hear me. I did not want to distract him. And I think you heard me.
It's okay. No, you were only here for 5 or 10 minutes. But that is, I'm excited. If I get a good score, then I can be done. Because I feel like I haven't been able to like really process that I'm about to be a dad. Because my brain is just like so focused on this test that I want to be more present. I want to be more like involved. But it's tough because this test has just been my whole life for the past few months. And so
yeah, it's been a pretty crazy process watching you study for it. And a lot of times people are like, "Where's Caleb?" or "What's Caleb doing?" He was literally studying for hours every single day. So, but I'm really proud of you.
And it's a weird thing. I debated about even like talking about because it just adds more pressure. But I've gotten to the point to where like it's all in God's hands. If I do good on it and I get into law school, great. If I don't get into law school and it takes me a couple of years or it takes me a year or so, that's fine too. Like who cares? And so just that mindset of whatever is supposed to happen, God will open those doors. And if I don't get in this year, then God's not gonna, it's not time yet.
Yeah.
Then I got to figure some other things out.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, enough about me.
Yeah. Okay. So
Donald Trump
is the official president as of today.
He is our new president. It's crazy.
Yeah.
If I would have told you 4 years ago, when January 6th happened, he's leaving the office. He gets kicked off of Twitter. He gets kicked off Facebook. If I would have told you that Elon Musk owns Twitter, now X, Trump is reelected, and he's sworn in as our new president yesterday, I don't think anyone would have believed me.
I would not have believed you considering how polarizing everything was, how crazy everything was, how just politically charged the internet was, and how many people hate him. So I don't think I would have ever thought that. Yeah. To be honest.
It's insane. It's
because this guy do you think he's the most polarizing person?
Yeah. It's not even close.
Right.
Yeah,
of our day and age, of course.
It's crazy that so many people love him and so many people hate him.
Well, then there's some people on this side that are like, Trump is my hero and my savior and I love him and I worship him. And then there's some people that are like, he's the Antichrist, he's the devil, he's the worst thing ever. Like, it's so crazy how you can have such drastic different camps.
Yeah. It is so cool though to see America like there's nothing like it. There's nothing like the inauguration yesterday. Like Biden and Harris, yes, they lost. And just seeing them like transfer the power over to the president, it's a really cool event that transpires that a lot of other countries don't have that peaceful transfer of power. But I don't know. I think this is going to be an interesting 4 years. He made a lot of promises, made a lot of, he talked about it being the golden age and talked about all the things that he was going to do. So he talked a lot. We'll see if he comes through on a lot of his promises, but I don't know. I think that there is a level of, I read something recently that they were talking about how Americans are more optimistic than ever.
Yeah.
Than they've been in a long time. And so it'll be an interesting 4 years.
Well, I think most people are like, okay, yeah, like we can only go up from here. Like the last 4 years were so crazy that I think a lot of people are like hopeful and expectant for the next 4 years.
There's a lot of people who aren't though.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, everyone that, didn't vote for him is very disappointed and totally understand who doesn't want their political party to win. But I thought it was interesting and cool just even seeing like Obama and Trump hanging out.
Just laughing
Together. I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
like,
what we need.
Bring that back. Like, that was cool.
Seeing Obama and Trump laugh, it's just like, it makes you wonder, do these guys secretly like each other? Do Biden and Trump, like behind closed doors, do they just dap up and go, yeah, I know I called you an old geezer behind the scenes, or I know I called you, they call each other a lot of crazy things, but like, I think they go behind the scenes and they're just playing a big practical joke on us sometimes because they have to say some of these things to get them in office. But I think secretly, they're boys. Secretly.
Yeah, you think?
I think secretly Biden and Trump low-key like each other.
Yeah, I just wonder like what they really are behind the scenes.
Yeah, like,
it's like we have no idea.
So when Trump and Melania, before the inauguration, they go in and get like they do like a tradition where they get tea with the about to be former president. And so they got tea with Biden and his wife. And I just wonder when they're drinking that tea, what are they talking about?
I don't know, is it like so awkward or are they like, so about those last 4 years?
It has to be awkward.
Like, I wonder what they're sheeshing about.
Like when we'll pull up the clip, but like, so when Kamala and her husband are like standing there and JD Vance and his wife are like walking up to say hi, it looks so awkward. It's like when you talk sheesh on somebody and you get caught gossiping or whatever, and then you see that person in public and they know you were talking crap.
Oh, for sure.
And it's just like, what, it's just that awkward, like we're going to be nice to each other, but we both know what you said.
I was just about to say, like, I don't even think we have something comparable to that. Like in our normal Monday, everyday lives, like what would be the most comparable situation to what they face? Because theirs is so, there's so much more depth and layer to that in history. Like even what you just expressed, that's not even, nearly as comparable to what they're probably going through.
So just imagine if you said about one of your friends that, this person is a threat to the civilization of humanity. And then the next day you got to like go get tea with them.
Yeah.
Like that's just weird. It's awkward. Weird. And I think it just goes to show you that these are people at the end of the day. And when they are like face to face, they're always so much nicer.
Right.
Like I bet you if they all hung out, they'd end up liking each other.
I hope so.
It takes a special person to want to be a politician.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to be able to, swoon the people and give them what they want. And then I don't know. I could never do it. I give respect to anyone. No, I could not.
Janine for president?
No. Don't vote for me. I don't want to be president.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's even funny, like even sitting on this podcast talking about it, I get a little like,
get a little nervous.
I get a little nervous, but then I'm like, I just feel like we should be at this point in society where people should be able to talk about this and stop like reading so deep into it or criticizing people. Like people should be able to talk about this.
So now we're going to phone a friend. You guys like this section when I did the solo podcast.
You guys told us to do this more often.
Which when you give birth, I might have to do a couple more solos.
That's true. We don't know how my maternity leave is going to go quite yet.
But, we talked about politics for a while. We're going to phone a friend. We're going to try to call JP. We're going to ask him some questions about, some people are excited Trump was elected. Some people are very scared and sad. We're going to get advice from the man himself. Probably, he might be equivalent to Mother Teresa. Let's
see if he answers. He's probably going to be like, what the heck? This is so random, but let's see what happens. the myth and the legend.
Hey, friend, this is JP.
Dang it.
Thanks.
Got the voicemail. That's crazy.
Man, okay, I'll send him a voice text. Okay, we actually got JP to call us back, so here we go. JP. Yo, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but we are doing a Phone the Friend segment, and we thought that there'd be no better person to call than the Jonathan Pokluda.
You know, I did this one time with Bob Goff, and I'm just trying to make sure that I respond better than he did in that moment, because he was not happy about it.
All right.
And no shade on Bob Goff. He's awesome.
We love Bob Goff.
Okay, Trump was just elected. All right. We got a lot of people who are excited. A lot of people who, this is the golden age, some would say. Some would say this is the worst time ever. What advice would you have for a young adult during this time? Some people are very upset with Christians who voted for him. We got some Christians that are like, I can't believe you would vote for, the left. So for these next 4 years, what would you say to a young adult?
Yeah, I think that the extreme emotion is symptomatic of political idolatry in our land. And you can't be upset at somebody for voting a particular way and exercising their freedom. Now, you can talk with them about it and you can try to persuade them. But at the end of the day, it's like I feel like with the invention of social media, we've forsaken the ability to disagree civilly. And that's not okay. And it's not Christ-like, and it's not a character of Jesus. And, I think there's going to be a lot of people one day, face to face with Christ, really confused when he tells them how he would have voted, and it's probably going to surprise of a lot of folks, at least 50% of Americans, about half of them.
Right.
And so I think my advice for, the next generation is, or any particular person, to draw a circle around yourself and work to change everything inside that circle. And just know that as you do your part, like that's your very best opportunity to change the world. But your outrage and your cynicism, that's not doing anything, like nothing. Like all that's doing is creating anxiety for you and pushing you further into the depths of despair and anxiety and frustrations. And so, man, stop that. That strategy is broken. It doesn't work.
I like the draw the circle. That's good.
That's so good.
Okay. Well, that was a great answer. Okay. We have one more question for you. So, You know that we're about to be parents.
Be a dad.
Help.
Crazy town.
Please give us your best parent advice.
Yeah. Man, here's my very best parenting advice. Live out your faith. And so there's too many parents today saying what is important to their kids, but they're not living like it. Like if I tell my kids, well, it's important that we tell people about Jesus, but I never tell people about Jesus, my kids are going to know that that's not really important to me. If I say to my kids, hey, it's important that you read the Bible, but I never read the Bible, they don't see me reading the Bible, they're going to know that that's not really important to me. And so I think if you live out your faith, you live Christian values, that's going to be the very best parenting advice that I could tell you. And then I would say, I've got a lot of parenting advice.
Say that one more time.
I said I have a lot of parenting advice. And so I would say be consistent in discipline. Have fun with your kids. I would say, what else do I say here?
I have something I saw you do really well one time.
Okay.
I think we were like at Unite, and I think you left the house maybe fast and you didn't say goodbye to your son or something, and you apologized and you called him and you said, I messed up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sure. And I saw you do that, and I thought that was really humble, and I think that is something that most parents don't do. So I just wanted to commend you for that. Say sorry, right?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, ask for forgiveness. It can't be so, like, if you're so prideful that you don't stop and ask your kids for forgiveness, that's going to really impact them. And so discipline is something that I feel like a lot of people get wrong and confused by. And so we discipline for disobedience, disrespect and deceit is double trouble. And so disobedience is pretty clear and obvious. Disrespect, if they're disrespectful, they get disciplined. But then if they lie, whatever would be the normal discipline, they get 2 times that, because lying is double trouble. And so disobedience, disrespect, and deceit. And that's been really a really helpful handhold to parents. I mean, you never discipline out of anger. And then again, just be the most fun house on the block. Like, my kids are going to have stricter phone rules than some of their friends, but our house is still going to be the house that their friends want to hang out at, because, man, we're just always down for a party. And I don't mean, when I say party, I'm talking, ice cream party or
pizza,
games.
You're
and
not
that
drinking
kind of
with
thing.
the pastor.
So, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's not like come over to the pastor's house and
That would be
crack
crazy.
open the bottle service.
You just wrote a book, real quick. Can you quickly tell us about the book you just wrote?
Yeah, Your Story Has a Villain. And so it's kind of a layman's guide to spiritual warfare. It's born out of my own 3-year journey of trying to understand what the enemy is capable of. And, you write a book on relationships, sex, dating, coming of age. I mean, those are or parenting for that matter. Those are felt needs. This is a book that has implications for all of those things: parenting, dating, sex, relationships. But it really just talks about how the spiritual realm has implications for every aspect of our life. And I hope every small group out there will read it together, because it's, it has questions in the back of the chapters. And it really does, I just didn't grow up with an understanding of what Satan can do and the demonic realm and angels and demons. And I just thought we couldn't really know about that stuff. And I started studying the scriptures, and it has a lot to say about it. And so that was the journey that led to Your Story Has a Villain.
Dang, that's good. Everyone, check out his book. Did it come out already?
Yeah, it's out.
All right, everyone, go order it now. JP, thank you so much. I appreciate your help, your words of wisdom.
I hope our son
love you guys. Listen, y'all are going to be a great mom and dad. I can't wait to meet, this child, this love child of the two of you. And y'all are going to be amazing parents. I'm so proud of you. I'm so encouraged by you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We hope we see you soon. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye. Friend.
That was a bar.
Man.
That's why we call JP. He always has such good advice.
Yeah.
I quote him all the time because
he's a modern day,
he's so quotable.
I think when we look back on it, I think he's going to have, he's had the biggest impact on our generation for young adults more than I think anybody else in the world.
I think he's going to have a trail of people that have found out about Jesus or gave their life to Jesus because of him.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for that. I'm one of them. So thanks, JP. It's kind of amazing that we have such access to the Word of God. Many of us have different versions and translations and multiple Bibles and study guides. And heck, we even have it on our phones readily available. I know that I do. And here's what's really heartbreaking is that there's so many people around the world who don't have access to a single Bible. They might have come to know Jesus. They might want to know Jesus more, and they might want to read the Bible in their own language, and yet they do not have access. Imagine that. They've become eager to know Jesus more, but they do not have the Word of God in their hands. And here's how you can make a difference. For just $24 a month, that's honestly one Target run or maybe even cheaper, you can provide 3 people with Bibles every single month. And when you do, Cru will thank you by providing meals to 12 hungry individuals through their humanitarian aid ministry. Plus, they'll even send you a copy of my new book, Becoming Happy and Healthy. So this is such an amazing thing that you guys can give back and also get my book in the process. Let's make a difference together. Just text HAPPY to 71326. That's HAPPY to 71326, or visit give.cru.org/happy. And let's make a difference around the world, you guys. Message and data rates may apply, available to U.S. addresses only. All right, we are now calling my brother-in-law who lives in Alaska.
He's a pastor, so.
His photo on my phone is hilarious.
Yo.
Anthony.
What up?
You're on the podcast.
I'm on the podcast.
Yeah.
Are you honored?
I'm literally on. Y'all are live right now, or y'all are recording right now?
We're recording.
Yeah, we're recording. We're doing a phone a friend section Okay. Well,
Yeah, dude.
Well, get the mic close to your mouth. Speak clearly. If you're nervous, take a deep breath because I'm about to throw a question to you. Okay, you ready?
Uh-oh.
I'm ready.
Okay, Donald Trump was just elected.
He cannot take this serious.
We have some people that are super excited. Some think America's back. Some people are really scared. They don't know what to do. They're Christian. They're like, I don't know how people could elect this guy. You know, you got a lot of confusing things. What advice would you give to a young adult who's navigating this season of change, to the pro-Trump, to the anti-Trump person? Speak to both of them. What advice do you have for them for these next 4 years?
Wow,
what a great question. I mean, here's what I would say. I think there's arguments against both candidates. There's arguments for both candidates. If we're looking to argue and debate and disagree, there will always be things to argue. Like, you're always going to find things you don't like about somebody versus some things that you do. But when I'm speaking to people and offering advice to this thing, my official advice is God is in control and God is good either way. Like God, like nothing happens beyond his control and nothing happens beyond his sovereignty. And regardless who would have won the election, like, I think if we decide that we're people who put our hope in Christ and decide that he is good and he loves us and he cares for his people, I think that's a really good place to start. When it comes to fear, like, I think about the story of when Jesus walks on water and Peter is out on the boat and it's scary and they've barely made any progress and they've been rowing for like 8 or 9 hours. And then Jesus arrives in the storm. And what I think is really special about this story is Jesus doesn't remove the storm right away. Like, he invites Peter out into the storm with him. And what I really like about this story is when Peter's eyes were fixed on Jesus, he was okay. The storm didn't go away, but he was okay. So, because his eyes were fixed on Christ. But when he took his eyes off of Jesus and started to notice the storms and notice the wind, he began to sink. I think the takeaway is when we are focused on Christ, even in the middle of storms, like, you might like Donald Trump, you might not. But either way, in the middle of a storm, in the middle of a season you're nervous or afraid of, if we fix our eyes on Christ, we will be okay. Because Jesus doesn't promise to remove the storms. Like, I think we think that he's a God who just removes all of the bad things, and then we get really surprised when things happen that we don't like. But the promise is not that everything will be perfect and everything will be great. The promise is if we keep our eyes on him, we will be okay. And that doesn't mean circumstantially everything will be perfect, but it means that if we fix our eyes on Jesus, he will give us peace to endure whatever it is that we're going through.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the advice can apply to both parties, because you might like the guy, you might not like the guy. Maybe you like Donald Trump, but you didn't like Joe Biden. So you're coming out of a season of 4 years where you felt like you were in a storm, but this season you feel like you're exiting a storm. And for the other people, it's the opposite. But I think either way, the advice is the same. As Christians, we need to fix our eyes on Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him, he endured the cross, bore our shame, and died on the cross. And when we fix our eyes on him, it doesn't mean the storm will go away, but it means that he will give us peace in the midst of the storm. This is the good news. God doesn't promise to remove the problems, but he promises that he is near to his people. And if we draw near to him, he will draw near to us, and he will give us what we need to navigate through the storms of life. Like, the president changes every 4 to 8 years, but God and his promises never change. They're eternal, which means our hope should be set on him and who he is and what he says, not on the changing circumstances that exist in the world around us.
Selfishly, I'm praying a youth pastor or not a senior pastor out there who's listening to the podcast will offer Anthony a job so he can be closer. He has a job. He's
closer to us.
He's an amazing pastor in Alaska, but I need him near me. So if you send your checks, send your money to Anthony Papero.
He's also about to be a dad. You're about to be a dad 1 month before us, so we'll be.
I'll show you guys the ropes that I learned here in like 3 months.
Yeah.
And we're about to go on a golf trip. in a couple months. So I'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah, and we're teammates.
We're
buddy.
teammates, dude. Come on.
Pretty cute.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
Pretty cute.
For you women out there who are looking for a man, find a man who has a cool brother-in-law, and your husband and your brother-in-law can come together and form an amazing friendship.
It really is such a perk. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because like my
I was
sister
gonna
and
say
I will hang
marry
out,
somebody.
and y'all go hang out.
I was gonna say marry somebody godly, obviously, but man, if the in-laws like each other, that is a huge benefit.
Huge win.
Caleb and I love each other. We're best friends, so that's a huge
great.
deal for us.
Cute.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Anthony. That was a fire answer.
Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Okay.
That was really good, and I think that's just truth.
No, I agree. You know what I will say? What a PR layup Trump has to save TikTok.
Okay, we're transitioning over to TikTok.
Like the Biden administration fumbled the bag. I mean, he could have saved TikTok before he left and just gone, I saved TikTok. But now Trump's going to be the one it looks like he's going to save TikTok. It went dark on Sunday and it came back. It's just funny to see all the people who are low key like, thank you, Trump, you know?
Right.
And so it's such an easy victory for him to save it. I wonder if that's going to like help him.
Yeah, like if that'll give him like brownie points, especially from like Gen Z who's obsessed with TikTok.
Well, it is crazy to me that our government can just, and I get it if there's national security risk.
Just flip the switch off.
Yeah, just turn it off.
It was like, bye, which is so scary. It's like, what else could you do that with?
Yeah.
You know? That was crazy. We were like at a restaurant and obviously I had known like, okay, the ban's about to happen. This was like, we didn't know we were going to get it back, which I don't know. I kind of wish the ban happened a little bit longer. It was almost like everyone was like grieving it and was kind of like, okay, yay, let's try new hobbies. We went over to Instagram and then it was like the next day it was like, we're back. And everyone was like, oh,
yeah.
Like some people went to sleep and didn't even know there was a ban and they woke up and it was back. They like completely missed it because it was that short.
Yeah. It was all and I get it. There were a lot of people crying over it because there are a lot of small businesses. There's a lot of people who rely on TikTok income. And I think it's so crazy to me that these politicians can just make a decision like that it affects millions of people's and they don't care that this hurts a lot of Americans. Like they didn't even make a statement. You know, a lot of them didn't make a statement. The ones that want it banned, like, hey, we know this hurts a lot of Americans who rely on TikTok as a form of providing for their family. Like it would have left a lot of people stranded and not knowing what to do. Now I get it. If there are foreign interference from China stealing our data. But what I'll also say is America's not too innocent when it comes to stealing data.
No, I was just going to say,
so,
like,
I don't know about it.
I don't know. I saw this video and this guy, he worked in private, what's it called? Data security and cybersecurity. Sorry. And he was like, I've worked in this for X amount of years. And he's like, let me tell y'all, he's like, TikTok is kind of the least of your concerns. And he was like, the most highly threatening app that steals all your information is Facebook Messenger. And I was like, ugh. And he's like, if you have this on your phone, delete it right now. And I had deleted this in the past because I knew this and I think I needed to re-download it for Facebook Marketplace. And it was on my phone. And I was like, oh no. And I immediately went and deleted it. And I was like, so the call is coming from within the house, right?
The amount of scams
that too
on Facebook Messenger and Facebook Marketplace is horrible.
My brother got scammed.
Yeah, it's horrible.
No, like literally
So
my
did your
brother,
dad.
my dad too. I'm like, guys, do better. No, my brother literally went to sell a cell phone and the guy like walked up to his car and was like, oh, can I like see the phone? And he's like, yeah. And he's looking at the phone. He just takes the phone, runs away and jumps in his car and speeds away. Dang. I was like, that is ruthless.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say back to the economy thing. I made a video on my own TikTok talking about the pros and cons because I think there's plenty of pros and cons. But I feel like a lot of people are more taking it from the stance of like the influencer route, like influencers need to go get jobs now and oh, boo-hoo-hoo, influencers can go cry. I understand that, but I wasn't even referring just to influencers. I was actually referring to people I've seen on there that, realize that they're a stay-at-home mom and now they can provide, or they can pay other medical bills, they can pay college debt. They're making an actual living from home. I mean, it's an incredible, powerful app. And I think that's also why they're like so scared by it. It's like, oh shoot, can we control this? It's like a wildfire that they're like, can we tame this? But I think also thinking about, the thousands of layoffs that it's going to happen or did happen is pretty sad too. Cause I mean, that's a pretty large company that you had to lay off thousands of people.
Yeah. They got to come to some type of agreement with the data situation and everything like that.
Yeah.
My prediction though is I think over the next 90 days, they will come up with a solution to save it. I don't think that it can get banned with how much of a influence that it has on America. And I do think, but what I will say is the algorithm is kind of scary.
It is.
Because the algorithm,
it knows you.
It seems a little too powerful. It seems a little too powerful for kids and for younger people. I think there needs to be some type of restrictions on the usage of it for younger people.
Yeah, I feel like when I did my pros and cons video, I obviously had so many pros. I am a huge TikToker. I love it. I don't feel like I post on there as consistently as I do with Instagram, but as a consumer, I love it. I mean, I find cool products, the coolest people. I learn on there. I keep up politically. There's so much on there that I just think is so beneficial. But then the flip side, kind of what you were saying about the youth, like I do worry. I worry about what that's doing to Gen Z when their attention spans are getting shorter. They're cheating probably on these apps of trying to like in school, or they're not focusing, or they're learning way too much at a rapid rate. Like, I just don't think that our young minds are meant to have that much information, that many people see us, that many people go viral, make that much money at such a young age. I don't know. I am very still pro keep TikTok, but then when it was gone, I was kind of like, I don't know if anyone else felt this way. I kind of was like, okay, this is good. Like forced Sabbath, forced rest. Like, let's get off. Let's take a break and let's not run to the next app. Like, let's spend time with the Lord and try new hobbies. And then it was back the next day. So I was kind of like, I wanted like a little longer, to be honest.
Yeah. The brain rot is real.
It is.
From like, and you scroll for a while and you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel horrible.
But not even that. Like, yes, the brain rot, but I also wonder what it's doing negatively to our society. I feel like it's made everyone become very unison, but not in a good way, where everyone dresses the same, talks the same, looks the same, does the same cadence, the same hand gestures. We do the same voice inflections. There's like almost like you have to fit into this mold that TikTok pushes. And if you don't, you feel guilty about yourself. And I think that's where I get a little nervous about like the power of it, because when a trend picks up, everyone picks up on this trend, and it's kind of scary.
I think the more danger is and a lot of people find community on TikTok, but it's not real life. A lot of these people get attached to influencers. They get attached to couples. They get attached to their favorite TikToker, and they're on it all day commenting on all these other people's lives, and they don't have real community within their own life.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. There's good and bad to it, but I do think it has made us more isolated, and it's and it's caused us to live in our echo chambers more and more instead of just going outside, going to real community, real people around us. Mm-hmm. So not everyone has that luxury, but I will say that a lot of people would rather stay in at night and be on their TikTok, phones. Yeah. Than to go out and go to dinner and go hang out with friends and stuff.
But also, like, I've even seen with us, we'll be watching a movie, and I know most people say this, that they can't even watch a movie anymore without having this in their hands.
Yeah.
They have to be multitasking. They have to be scrolling as they're watching. And I'm like, when did it get like that? And that's almost what makes me miss a traditional movie theater, because they're like, turn off your phone, get off your, you can't be scrolling on TikTok.
That's why I love golf so much.
Like, you're locked in, and we don't do that anymore.
That's why I love golf. Because you go golfing for 4 hours and you're forced to be off your phone, and you don't want to be on your phone because you're so focused. Yeah. We were having this conversation a couple days ago, and I get it. A lot of girls play golf, but we were trying to talk about our relationship. Like, what's your golf version?
Yeah. What's the equivalent of like guys going to play golf for 4 hours and them like broing out and like having this bond and y'all do whatever. I don't even know what you guys do there.
Just play.
I'm sure it's fun.
Yeah.
But we were like, what is the equivalent of that for girls? And I literally couldn't think of it.
Well, I was trying to tell her, I was like, you need your golf thing.
Well, no, I think back when pickleball was popping, like I had that every Monday with the group of girls. We played for like an hour and a half and that was really fun.
But for 4 hours.
Yeah, no, we don't have that.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, I was like, okay, you know, I used to host girls over and we'd paint. And I'm like, that's once in a blue moon. I'm like, is it watching TV together? Is it shopping? Like we could shop at the mall for a while, but I couldn't think of an actual equivalent. So like, I see why y'all are so obsessed with it.
It's so fun. It is so fun.
Girls, we need to think of our own equivalent. Like comment down below, what is our equivalent and what should our equivalent be?
I think you should get into golf.
It's time.
I don't think there is equivalent. I think we should get you lessons in golf.
I'm not mad about it. I would be down to learn golf for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
I think we should invest into that. What if you become, let's start a YouTube golf channel where my goal is to get my wife to be a good golfer. That'd be low key good.
Ooh, I don't even know who, would you guys watch that?
That would be good. We start from the basics. We like video it and like, it's like a couple's YouTube golf. We could be golf influencers.
I don't know about that.
That would be sick.
Speaking of,
I just change our entire niche to golf.
yeah, my whole channel changes. But speaking of YouTube, one thing that I'm actually really thankful for during the whole TikTok ban is suddenly everyone went rushing back to YouTube. And as like, I don't know, not even like a self-professed OG YouTuber, people call me this. I have done YouTube for over 12, 13 years. And so I never disappeared. I was still always posting. And so it was kind of nice to be like, yeah, I never left. And I didn't have to like suddenly just jump back on. Like I've been posting. I may not be posting like the most consistently as I do on Instagram, but I was like, guys, I'm still here. So if you guys didn't know, I have a YouTube channel. I still post on there. So
yeah,
check that out. And that's why like in this industry, sorry, I know not everyone's an influencer, so I won't harp on this too much, but it is important to diversify because you never know when YouTube's gone. I mean, one day everyone's like, Instagram sucks, YouTube's dying, now it's TikTok, now it's Lemonade. Like you just don't know. So just diversify.
So something we've been talking about lately is, first of all, you're giving birth in 4 months. Are you going to do an medicated versus like an unmedicated birth?
That's the burning question, isn't it?
I just don't, I think because I don't want you to be, and it is the natural thing, like birthing is painful, but I think because I don't want to see you in a ton of pain, I'm like, because I know
it's going to happen though.
I know personally as a guy, bro, if guys had to give birth,
y'all couldn't do it.
If guys had to give birth, the pharmaceutical companies that make, what's the, don't tell me.
Epidural?
I told you not to tell me.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
I knew it was that. The companies that make epidurals, the stocks would rise by 10,000% if guys all of a sudden, could give birth. And because guys just don't handle pain that well.
I mean, y'all have like a different form of pain when you get kicked in a certain area, which I'll never be able to experience. But like labor is like that times like 30,000.
Yeah.
Like we have that for 30 hours sometimes.
My temperature is 99. Your boy is down. I couldn't imagine.
I swear, men are the biggest sissy girls when they get sick.
For sure.
Literally, they curl up in a ball and they're like, "Mommy."
Well, we just want to be taken care of,
But I don't know. I think this conversation of medicated versus unmedicated, I'm learning so much about it.
There's a lot of camps.
And this is pretty debated. This is a bit debated topic. And I'm sorry if you're not a mom, but like you will have to eventually, if you do want to have kids, you'll eventually have to go through this and do your research and study this and figure out what you want to do because people will give you their opinions. People will tell you, you need to do natural, or they'll say, just get an epidural, girl, who cares? Or some of my friends, they've gotten C-sections and they love it because they're like, I don't have to do anything. I just lie there, they take the baby out, it's great. So there's whatever you want to do. Ultimately, we talked to our doctor, we've gotten advice from her. Of course, we've gotten advice from friends, but I do think that there's a pressure on women that you are more like BA or you're more cool if you do unmedicated. Now, I've never done this, so I don't know, but I've heard it is the most excruciating pain Danny told me it was equivalent to breaking 20 bones at once.
So you're basically saying using an epidural and not using an epidural.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I do think if you do it unmedicated, that's like so sick because it's really hard to do that because I've heard it's just so painful. However,
what does it feel like? Like what do they say it feels like?
Well, Danny just said that. She said it's equivalent to breaking.
Yeah.
And like literally, baby, you're like feeling your skin like ripping apart.
God.
And then like your cervix is like literally it's expanding. And then you think about a baby's coming out of you. But I was just going to say, but if you decide to do an epidural, that either you're no less of a woman, you're no less of a hero or anything. Like there's so many women I think that shame other women if they decide to get an epidural. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. So whatever you want to do, but I also do think it is harder to do and unmedicated. I mean, that's why a lot of people do opt for epidural because the pain is just so insane. But regardless to whatever you do, round of applause, hats off.
Is it like, this is kind of gross, but
oh no.
Is the feeling like, I'm not even going to ask it. Never mind.
I know what you're going to say.
What?
Taking a dump?
Well, no. Yeah, kind of, but like you're really constipated and it just hurts.
Yeah, probably.
Is that a similar type of feeling? I guess
I don't know.
You've never given birth, so you don't know.
I don't know, but I feel like I could imagine. Like your body is trying to eject this thing from your body.
Yeah.
And you're doing it for like an extended period of hours. However, when you are using the El Baño, you're not having contractions. As a female, literally you're getting contractions, and that's your body helping you be like, okay, let's get this thing out. So like you add that on top of that, and I don't know. I just found out from my physical therapist, she told me to not have my baby on my back because I think, injured and cracked my tailbone in the past. She was like, that's going to be the worst position for you.
Really?
So we're going to have to get creative.
There's so many opinions that people just be saying things.
No, but I trust her. She's an actual like PT for women that give birth.
But there's just so many people. This is the hardest part about having a baby.
Yeah.
Is there's just chirpers. People just be saying anything and everything, and every opinion is different, and you're just like, I don't know what to believe anymore. And it goes back to this, where I find like peace is we've been having babies since the creation.
Ever. Yeah.
And they didn't have epidurals back then. They didn't have anything back then. And we found a way to populate the entire earth and to build civilizations. And so ultimately, like, God has a plan. We trust in him. We're not going to be perfect, but everything that's going to happen will happen. And we just have to put our faith in God.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I think my goal, and like, I don't know, this could totally change, because here's what I've heard so many people say. You go in with your quote unquote birth plan. You're like, this is what I want to do, da, da, da. Actually, I heard this advice was really good. You go in with your birth plan, and then one of my friends recently, she tried to do unmedicated, and she gave her husband a code word so that the doctors and the nurses didn't even know. And the code word was, I'm so freaking serious. Get me an epidural right now. That's what the code word meant. Like, maybe her code word was like pizza.
gotcha.
And she's like, pizza. And he's like, are you sure? You're sure? And when she screamed pizza, he's like, get this woman an epidural. But that's when he knew she was like serious.
Yeah.
So she was like, do not, because here's the thing I heard even from like my friends that have had births. You are screaming. You're in so much pain that you're like, get me an epidural, get me an epidural, get me an epidural. You want anything to get rid of the pain. Mm-hmm. So he can't, the husband can't tell, like, okay, are you just being serious? You really want this? You know, so until she gave that code word, which I think we should do.
You know what we should do?
What should
Let's get an ice tub bath out here and have you go into it. Because I've heard if you get in an ice tub bath and you can handle the ice tub bath without getting out, you like have a good chance of not having to use an epidural.
Well, I do think it's all about
your mental toughness.
They say that unmedicated is mainly mental and breath work. So like, I'm reading books, I'm trying to do it, that
doesn't look mental to me. That just looks painful.
No, they say because your body is so like I freaking can't do this, but in your brain, you have to be like, no, I can do this. I can do this.
I have a question.
I have an answer, I think. That reminds me of the card game.
Do you get jealous of like, or mad at, not at God, but I do feel men have other responsibilities. We have other things to garnish, other things to God willing, to provide, to be the protector of your family. But I do think girls, you guys have it hard. You guys have the baby. You have to carry it for 9 months. Nursing, all the things. I don't feel like girls get enough love for that, especially in our society. Like it's oftentimes looked down upon for women who want to have a lot of babies. But it is a feat, and it is
a feat.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's an accomplishment. It's a feat. Yeah. It's a feat.
I've never heard that in my life.
That's a word.
It's a feat?
Yeah.
Like I think of like defeat.
It's a feat definition. It's a feat is an expression that means something is exceptional or remarkable accomplishment.
Good job,
It's often to describe something that is difficult, daring, or requires a lot of skill. See?
That was it. I've never heard that before. I learned something new today.
Yeah.
But babe, that's why I married you.
Practicing the LSAT.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I think so many women are going to feel seen that way because I don't think a lot of men give credit to women for that.
We talk about it behind the scenes. Us guys behind the scenes go, it's so hard. It's pretty hard being a man. And we look at each other. We're like, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
there are things that are hard, but being a guy is fun.
It's so annoying sometimes.
It is hard, but it is fun.
Again, y'all don't have an equivalent, and you never will.
It's like golf. Girls don't have an equivalent to golf.
Y'all don't have an equivalent to birth and like carrying. That's so stupid. It's so unfair. That's so unfair. Yeah, there's nothing.
If people could take that so out of context.
No, but I knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm glad you recognize that,
I'm trying. War, back in the day, it was war.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
We'd go to war.
But you don't have that now.
We could.
You could. Yeah, but you're not going to war. But you're not like getting drafted over here. But I do think that was their equivalent. Like the women were raising the children. The guys were in war suffering, coming home.
We would have to
trauma,
go kill our food.
That too. Yeah.
So it's like men went in corporate kind of settings, more cityfied, and girls kind of did the same thing. But you guys still have to, if you want
to
do
the same things and more.
Yeah.
But it was good.
So yeah, the baby is so far healthy. It looks like everything is going amazing.
Yeah, we're so thankful.
18 weeks left.
Crazy.
Insanity. More than halfway done.
Internal panic. Yeah, I feel a little overwhelmed, but also so excited. I have to still finish my registry. We don't know where the baby room's going, to be honest. We
still don't know a lot of answers to.
We're figuring out a lot of stuff.
We're going to stay here. We're still figuring it out.
Yeah. I've had people be like, are you setting up your nursery? And I'm like, where? Like, yeah. I don't know where it's going to go. And so we're praying through all of that. And like, just as Anthony was even saying, like, God is our peace. He is our direction. He is our leader. He is where we are going to find the solutions that we're looking for. And wait upon the Lord. The Bible says that those that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Maybe you're weary. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're exhausted. You're wanting answers. You're looking like, God, what am I supposed to do? Waiting upon the Lord is what's going to renew your strength. Not striving, not trying to do it all in your own strength. Waiting on the Lord. And so that's what we're doing. We're waiting for the Lord to open the doors and do things that only He could do. And we're excited. It's scary. A lot of change probably happening, but we're ready for it.
I'm ready for it. Yeah. Bring it on.
Bring it on 2025. I'm hopeful for this year. I really am.
It's going to be a good year.
Yeah. But I just want to let you guys know, season 6 will be launching February 11th. We will not have an episode on February 4th. But until then, we'll have, I think, about 2 more episodes or so. 1 more episode. And then season 6 will be here. I'm working relentlessly to get some awesome guests for you guys. As always, excuse me. Let me know who you want on, but I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, catching up with us, and we hope nothing was taken wrong. But yeah, this was just us wanting to sit down and be unfiltered.
Go be great, guys.
Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of Happy and Healthy. I will see you guys next Tuesday for another one, but until then, stay happy and healthy.
And guess what?
What?
Go golfing.